Hi, I'm Kellen. I'm going to walk you through the installation process for your towmonster. This installation is of moderate difficulty. It typically takes 30 to 60 minutes for your average user to install, less for professionals. We recommend using these tools and supplies. We're going to demonstrate on this Urban Arrow bike with the 2023 Essential Carrier Rack by Urban Arrow. Installation is similar for other racks. Your towmonster has a specification sheet that shows the specifics for your model. Place 4 P-clamps on the top rail of the rack. Note that the flat side of the P-clamp is oriented outwards. When installing on other kinds of racks, there might be slight variations. Here on the Axiom Transit Rack, for example, you can see the P-clamps are of a slightly different variety. Their spacing is more even, and there's a 5th P-clamp located at the bottom of the rack. Refer to your specification sheet, which will also show any differences for your rack. Next, pinch the P-clamps closed with pliers. This will help the holes line up with the screws later. If you find the P-clamps aren't grabbing the rail snugly when pinched closed, then go back and wrap electrical tape under where they go, just like this. In a moment, we'll use these 4 screw assemblies. Each screw assembly has a screw, finish washer, and a large washer. Then there's a washer and nut on the backside. These screws and washers come in later for the bottom hole on the towmonster. The bottom ones vary depending on the model. Next, let's begin hanging the towmonster on the rear rack. Start with the screw assembly for the 3rd screw position. Starting with this one will help the towmonster balance while we're hanging it. Some racks use a washer and spacer on the backside. Check the specification sheet for your rack. Okay, now insert the screw into the 3rd P-clamp. Getting the screw into the P-clamp can be tricky. Try jiggling the towmonster to help fish the screw through. Once you have it through, push on the P-clamp so the screw is sticking out of it. Next, put on the washer and hand thread the nut. Here you can see us doing the 2nd screw from the side. Again, jiggle the towmonster to help you get the screw through the P-clamp. Remember, this can be tricky, so take your time and be patient. Once it's in, put on the 2nd washer and hand thread the nut. Repeat this 2 more times for the remaining screws on the top rail. At this point, all 4 screws on the top rail should be loosely threaded together with their respective washers and nuts. Now it's time to connect the lower screw assembly. There are a few potential holes for the screw assembly, depending on your rack model. On this 2023 Urban Arrow Essential Carrier Rack, the screw threads directly into an eyelet in the bike's frame. Switching away from our rack for a sec, you can see that on other racks you will attach a P-clamp to the bottom of the rack to accept the lower screw. The spec sheet will show the exact details for your model. For those models with a lower P-clamp, hand thread a washer and a nut on the backside. Then reach around the backside with a wrench like this. Going back to our 2023 Urban Arrow Essential Carrier Rack, we'll now put a washer on the backside of the towmonster. Now let's get the towmonster in its final position. Adjust the screws on the top so that the bottom screw lines up with its respective hole. It may take a minute of finagling to get it just right. Here you can see we need to leave a little space to accommodate the wiring. Okay, now that we've adjusted the position, let's go back to the bottom screw. Fantastic! Looks like we can thread it in now. Do a final tightening on all the screws. As a recap, there's 1 screw on the bottom and 4 on the top. Make sure to get them all. You may notice a clicking sound as you tighten the screws. Don't be alarmed. That's just the P-clamp slipping over the threads of the screw. With all the screws tightened, the towmonster will be very solidly attached. Well, congratulations! You now have a towmonster. What are you still doing here? Go out and take it for a spin!